Hi, kids. I'm Miss Sarah.
And I'm Miss Rylan.
And welcome back to the Kids Table. And this is Troy, and he's being clingy, so he's joining us for the Kids Table. So, Monday, which is tomorrow, is known as the Transgender Day of Remembrance. So I thought it might be a good time for me to interview my friend Rylan here. So Rylan, as my friend, I know that you identify as transgender, a person that is transgender. So I was wondering if you could explain to some of our kiddos who maybe they've heard that word, but they're not quite sure what it means. So I was wondering if you could clear that up for us.
Being transgender means that my brain doesn't necessarily match my body. And what that means is when I was born, the doctors told my parents that I was a boy because my body looked like a boy. And I was too young to tell anybody that I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. And as I grew up, I knew I was a girl on the inside. But on the outside and to everybody else, I was a boy. Until I got a lot older and I was able to tell everybody who I knew I was. So a transgender person is somebody whose gender, who they are on the inside, doesn't match their sex or their body on the outside.
Right. So when did you know that your gender did not match your body?
My earliest memories, I knew I was a girl. I didn't know what transgender was when I was little either. I just knew I was a girl and everybody thought I was a boy and I was confused. And I learned to act how everybody wanted me to, but I've always known that I was not a boy, I was a girl. So later on, I found out what transgender meant and I knew I was transgender when I got older.
And how old were you when you knew what that was and were able to live truthfully as your true self?
So when I was in school, when I was school age, I learned about other transgender people and I learned that word and learned that there were people like me. But I had to live as somebody I wasn't, as a boy, until I was in my 40s, actually. That was 3 years ago when I was finally able to come out to the world and tell everybody, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. This is who I'm going to be. This is who I'm going to live, and live as myself.
And when you were able to live as your true self, how were you treated? Was everybody very kind to you and loving to you?
Not everybody. Thankfully, I had so many wonderful friends here at Open Table who have been loving and accepting from day one. I have had family members who do not agree with who I am. They think I should be that boy. I have friends that don't understand, who are no longer friends. So I've lost friends and I have trouble with some family. And strangers sometimes don't like to see me, like people like me. And they can sometimes say mean things, and sometimes just give a lot of stares and looks, which also hurts.
Absolutely. So, kiddos, what we want to express to you today and just remind you today that sometimes we don't understand what other people are going through. And that's okay. I will never understand what it's like to live as a boy because my gender and my brain matches my body, and I've only had the experience of living as a girl. So there's things that we'll never understand. But as good human beings and as followers of Jesus, we have to remember that our main job here on this earth is to love everyone and to be kind and to be the hands and feet of Jesus in this world. So We just wanted to use this as an opportunity to remind you all to be loving and kind to everyone, no matter what, even if you don't understand who they are or what they're going through. And to the parents, I'm going to put some resources down in the comments of some recommended reading kids books if you want to follow up. And there's a couple of really good videos that I'll put down in the comments that have even further explanation for your kids about gender and assigned sex at birth and how that is a spectrum. So thanks for joining us at the kids table. We'll see you next time.